This is a Willets Point Shea Stadium bound 7 express train. The next and last stop is Willets Point Shea Stadium.
Let's talk about the surprise trade, the Max Scherzer, the whole ordeal. I was at the game yesterday and I just lost the battery on my phone, keep scrolling to seeing what was going to happen next with the whole Verlander situation. Is he going to, opt in with Texas? Is he going to waive his no trade clause? It ended up all, working out. Obviously, he goes to the Texas Rangers. He's opting in 2024 with Texas. The Mets will pay $35 million of Scherzer's salary through the end of 2024, and the Rangers are picking up $22.5 million. You mentioned Mets getting Luisangel Acuña, which is the little brother of Braves superstar Ronald Acuña Jr. He plays second base, shortstop, and I think he does play a little bit of center field from what I was reading. Billy says he's going to play shortstop when he goes to Double-A Binghamton, at least to start. On MLB Pipeline, he was ranked third in the Rangers farm system. Will now be second behind Parada on the Mets top 10. Joe DeMayo, Michael Mayer have him as the Mets top prospect. I've been hesitant to trust Billy in these trades, but it seems that the Mets fared very well on this one, and they did very well. Do you like this trade, Pat? What grade do you give the Mets for this trade?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the Mets probably could get, maybe a B plus or even an A minus for this trade. They spent a lot of money there, $35 million. But they got a high-end prospect back, a guy who, like you said, was the number 3 ranked prospect in the Rangers system, in a very good system, and number 44 overall in MLB Pipeline's top 100. So this is for an aging Scherzer who looked like his stuff and his skills had kind of diminished this year, very inconsistent. So yeah, I do really like this return, and I really like this trade, and I would give them probably an A minus to a B plus. And like some of these prospect experts have already said, they're ranking him number 1 in the Mets system already. So you got your best prospect for an aging pitcher with 1 more year on his deal. Who had honestly struggled this year. So yeah, I do really like this trade. The Mets, this is where Steve Cohen comes in handy, that he was willing to pay $35 million to get a better prospect. It really, has helped tremendously.
And it was a crazy 24 hours for the Mets. Maybe you can even go 48 hours, because the Mets won the opener against the Nationals. Yeah, they had that little rain delay. David Robertson was getting ready in the bullpen. They pull him out. We find out he got traded to Miami, which we're going to get into a little bit later. And then Scherzer pitches the next night, and he makes, a whole set of comments about, talking to the front office, see where everything's going to end up. And right after that, the next day he's traded. Do you think Max's comments the night before set this trade into motion, or was this something that possibly could have been in the works? Because we all been hearing about Justin Verlander, no talk of Max Scherzer whatsoever. So the fact that, Max came out, kind of spoke openly, and then the next day he's traded to Texas, did that kind of just set things in motion, or was it already in play?
From my understanding, it was already in play, that this trade was in the works for a number of days. It just, we all we heard was about Justin Verlander, and obviously he had, the higher value, and the Mets are valuing him higher, which his price tag is, Andy Martino is reporting tonight that he might not get traded because the Mets are valuing him very high. But, Max Scherzer still is a future Hall of Famer. He has had some really good starts this year. He's had some bad starts. He's been inconsistent, but he is still Max Scherzer. This trade was in the works for a number of days, and yeah, his comments, it sounded like he was preparing himself to be traded. He kind of knew that something, anything could happen. And yeah, obviously the Mets wound up dealing Scherzer, not Verlander, and getting a really good prospect in return.